Hello, hello, friends. Welcome to Sama Dog's Saturday morning show, Dog Talk, where we explore ways to care even more deeply and better for our dogs of their body, mind, and spirit. My name is Amanda Ree, the founder of Sama Dog, and today we feature the wonderful Vanessa Graziano, a talented animal communicator and a longtime friend of the canine community. Hi, Vanessa. Welcome.
Amanda, thank you so much for having me. Hello.
Oh, we're so excited to have you here. We love you so much.
Thank
And we're very happy to feature you and get your beautiful voice out into the world even further.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. And I love you. I love what you do for the dog.
Thank you. So today we're talking all about animal communication, how it works, and understand even better how we can expand our abilities to communicate and connect deeply with the dogs and the other animals in our lives. Vanessa joins us from her home in Colorado and is the creator of an organization called YAP Animal Communication, and I will post her website below. So a little bit about Vanessa as well is that she has been a student of animal communication since 2005. She's got a certificate of advanced study from the University of Denver in animals and human health. She is a humane educator, humane educator and education instructor. Let me say that again. A humane education instructor for at-risk youth, which is really cool because she teaches responsibility, compassion, empathy, and respect for animals. So I can just imagine how powerful and important that work is. And she is also a volunteer puppy raiser with Canine Companions for Independence ever since 2004. And I was trying to remember, Vanessa, how many puppies you have raised. What was it, like 7?
We raised 9 puppies.
9 puppies, and then turn them over to this beautiful cause, which is for them to become service animals or therapy dogs. So her work and her connection to animals goes way back. Vanessa and I met at an event of mine and have worked on several of my different projects and cases and circumstances with dogs together. And she's just a joy. And I'm so happy to bring her to all of you. Welcome, Vanessa, again. And thank you for all of your beautiful work in this world.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Thank you. And I am just so appreciative of being here and sharing this platform with you. I mean, that's when we met, it was very fortuitous. And it just happened to be, I was in California at that time to attend your class. And I knew instantly when I sat in that class, this is awesome. So I'm so glad for this connection. Thank you.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, I felt the same, a soul bond. And I know so many of us on this call, in this conversation, in this feed or watching it after have a very similar connection in the heart. And that's why you hopefully, really are able to get a lot out of this conversation today and a lot of lessons because you're just so poised and ready for it. So let's dive into it, shall we? So Vanessa, kick us off with, I think a good place to start is always, how did you get into this? How and why did you get into this? Tell us
Yeah.
your story.
So in 2004, my sisters bought me a gift certificate to work with an animal communicator, Terry O'Hara, who ended up is my teacher and mentor. And I had knew nothing about animal communication, but I had this chocolate lab who I loved dearly. He was my soulmate. And so I thought, what the heck, I'll try it. And I got on the phone with her and she blew me away. She said things that absolutely she would not have known unless she was talking to my dog. So it really piqued my curiosity. And she was in Colorado at the time. And so I just started taking classes from her and found that I could actually do this. And it just kind of snowballed from there.
Awesome. And so tell us, how first, I know a lot of people, because we've spoken about animal communication a few times on our Saturday show. And so just tell us again, how, if someone is interested in experiencing animal communication or learning to be a communicator, very briefly, obviously they can book an appointment with you or a communicator that they might know or have worked with. And so tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so, if you're interested in learning more about animal communication, a really good place to start is at animaltalk.net. And that's Penelope Smith, and I hope I got her last name right. I can't believe it. I know her first name's Penelope. She's like the mother of animal communication. And so her website actually has a lot of good resources. She's been doing this for years and years and years, like 40 years probably. And so she's kind of really the founder of it and really made it mainstream, I should say. mainstream as it is. But she's got a lot of good resources on her books and audio podcasts and things. So that's just a good place to start. Kind of an introduction. And also on her website, she has a whole list of animal communicators that work, that she has trained or sign up with her. So it's a good place to start.
Fantastic. And so, yeah, tell us a little bit about how the process goes. And we will, just so everybody knows, we will have an experience. Vanessa will guide all of us through an experience with our pets and see if we can, right now and today have a moment of unity and clarity. But tell us a little more. Wait 1 second, because I'm just going to welcome, I see a few more friends jumping on the line. Many of your beautiful friends have been very engaged in our posts, and I know they were here to see you, so that's awesome. We've got, and let us know if you're here, please comment below. We've got Bono the doggy, oh good, and Emarina, his mama's here, Rena, Nancy, Erica, Julie's with us, and B says the link won't open on my phone. Oh no, that's odd. Maybe just to close the app, B, and then open it back up again. It should work. So definitely let us know if you're here, if you've had any experiences with animal communication. We'd love to hear from you. Oh, Beth's here also. Nice to see you, Beth, and connect. So yeah, let us know what your experiences have been. Maybe you've had personal experiences either with an animal communicator or you've picked up some messages from the beings in your life. We'd love to hear what your experiences have been. And then, as I mentioned, we'll talk a little bit more and then we'll go into an experience. And then, of course, Vanessa's here to answer any of your questions or insights that might come through. So Vanessa, go ahead with what I was saying is, how does it work overall? What are the basics, like the 1, 2, 3s?
Sure. Yeah. So, well, just to kind of start with what is animal communication if people don't know what it is. So it's a way of connecting with your dog, really any animal, but we'll talk about dogs today because we're all dog lovers. Connecting with your dog through the love that you share and having a conversation. And so, you heard me say through the love that you share. That's really the key to animal communication, is that heart-to-heart connection. So as an animal communicator, my job is to facilitate a conversation between animals and humans, and I represent the human. So I'm not the human, I represent the dog, and I give the dog a voice in the conversation. And so you can think of me kind of any animal communicator as an interpreter. And so two beings who speak different languages, we help them converse because they don't speak the same language. And so really the key to it, I just mentioned this, is sending and receiving information from your heart, not your head. We spend a lot of time in our heads over the course of the day, working, whatever we do, worrying, thinking, fretting about the past, worrying about the future. And our animals, our dogs, they live in the present. And so that's where we can meet them. So if we can get quiet and we can settle into our hearts, then that really opens up that communication channel with them.
It sure does. It opens up so much with them, doesn't it? And I love how you constantly remind us to come back there. So, okay. So then what?
Well, so as far as so we should go through the steps of animal communication.
Yeah, just very basic, because I know you'll guide us through it in like real time.
So really, it's getting out of your head and into your heart is the first step. Along the way, you definitely want to breathe. I know when I do meditations with you Saturday mornings, Amanda, there's always a lot of breathing. So it's the same thing. Take deep breaths. Another really important thing to do is just be open to it. I actually get people on the phone who are skeptical of animal communication, and they're not sure if it's really a thing, but they're kind of curious. And I will tell you what I find over and over again is those people who are a little bit closed off and not open to it, I don't make as strong of a connection to their animals as I would with people who are really open to it and excited about it. So be open to it, get excited about it, have fun with it. So those are kind of the first major steps. Get out of your head, into your heart, have fun, be open. And then we're simply going to just simply ask your dog a question or send your dog a message, whatever you want. And then receive and see what you get back. And if you're in that quiet, really present space, you'll be able to feel it. And again, what we're doing is we're feeling it. We're sending and receiving from our hearts, not our heads. So you're feeling this. And you may get information in different ways. Some people get a lot of pictures. You might get words or sentences, physical or emotional feelings. But whatever it is, just receive it and then trust it. That's a really important step too, because I know all of you love your dogs so much, love all your animals, and you're constantly getting messages from them, but you're not trusting that you are. And just as an example, you might be sitting there watching TV and you think to yourself, like all of a sudden you think to yourself, I think, Fluffy, I think she probably needs more glucosamine because she's been kind of creaky lately and maybe I should up her dose. Like it just, comes to you. And then you just poo-poo it because you think, where did that come from? But that's them, that could have been Fluffy speaking to you saying, hey, my joints are a little creaky. I need a little more glucosamine. So just trust what you get. Trust what you get from your animals.
That's a great thing to remind us of for sure. And I'd love to hear a couple stories, of your experience, because I think our viewers might want to know, what have you experienced that communication has helped with? And I'll just say with one of our experiences, as I'm sure you well remember, McLaren, our Sheltie friend who was in a desperate state of health. He had IBD extremely bad. I mean, when we met this boy, it was really the very end of his life. He hadn't eaten in like half a month and, just was so sick. So we brought him into our home, and right away I got on the call with Vanessa to kind of learn more. And I thought it was so interesting. He'd been here for like 2 days, and I was doing all of my stuff, all my Ayurvedic remedies and all of the holistic modalities and methods I was applying. And we were chakra balancing and energy clearing and partnered breathing. And I was doing all kinds of intention setting and prayer and meditation with him. And Vanessa and I got on the phone together to talk with McLaren specifically. And it was so interesting that what McLaren had said, because he was not my dog, he was someone else's dog that came into our house for rehab. And it helped me so much because she said that he felt that he really liked what he was experiencing, but he had no idea what any of this was. He's like, what is all of this? What is she doing to me? So with that, it was just that he was curious. He wasn't against it. He just was curious, but he also could have been more open if he understood it. So I thought it was so powerful that Vanessa was able to communicate back to him what we were doing and why. And I explained to her several of the different things, methods that we were kind of moving forward with. And really that day, the next day, I saw McLaren open and receive even more. I saw him feel more comfortable and trusting. And of course, it's hard for a dog to do that. He already doesn't feel well, and he's come into some strange home and now has these other people taking care of him. His dad's not here. It was stressful. So I just saw like such comfort and ease come over him once we could communicate clearly. And healing, just so everybody knows the full story, is that McLaren made a full recovery. And I saw him recently, and he was a big fluffy haired puppy, and he was just so happy and healthy that it was beautiful. And you were such a critical part of that, Vanessa. So that's one way, is just kind of bridging the gap in our connection to then move towards a goal, a shared goal, in this case being healing. So tell us any other story that might stand out in your mind and in your heart.
Yeah, thanks. And I'm so glad to be part of McLaren's healing. You guys did such wonderful work with him, and I'm really glad to be a part of that. But yeah, I mean, there's one story that really comes to mind that I wanted to share. So I have this longtime client, and this lovely German Shepherd named Vader. And we would talk often with his humans just to check in. He was older. He was on the elder side, and just to check in to see what he needed, see how he's doing. And as he was getting older, his humans would worry more about him because he's getting older. Is he working? Is he moving around well? How does he feel? What does he need? And so we kind of went through that whole thing at the conversation, and back and forth what he'd like. And he didn't really have that many requests. And at the end of our conversation, I always ask, is there anything, Vader, you'd like me to share on your behalf that I haven't? And I just heard him say, "This is Vader reporting for duty." And as animal communicators, we're trained just to say what we get, not to think about it and go, wait, that doesn't make sense. I'm not going to say it. So I said, this is what I heard from him. And his mom just started laughing. And she's like, oh my gosh. So the story is that Vader, when he was younger as a German Shepherd, his dad was kind of training him like kind of a police dog, but not to do that work, but just kind of that similar training. He has the German Shepherd, and so he said that he would always like just show up. They'd say, "Okay, Vader, you're on duty now," and then they kind of shortened that to just calling him duty. And so by him saying this is Vader reporting for duty, it was letting him know, hey, I'm still on duty. You don't have to worry so much. I'm still here. Doing okay.
Wow.
It gave them a lot of peace. And it was
Wow.
just sweet that he came up with those words that would really resonate with them.
So cool, Vanessa. I love that. And I've heard from you so many stories like that, these very specific things about certain colors or references or things that, like you said earlier, learning to trust what your communication is, like learning to trust what you hear, knowing that in my experience of trying this out with you and with others and with my own pups, of course, like sometimes these random messages of, a symbol or even a smell or a feeling, like trust that there's a message in that experience, in that feeling. And that's what you, I'm sure, learn to do better and better as a professional communicator, I would guess.
Well, yeah, you do. It really is an exercise in trusting, because even some days I still feel like, did I just make that up? But I just had a dog tell me the other day, he just showed me a pair of tennis shoes, and they were Converse tennis shoes. And I'm like, okay, I said, why did you show me those? And I said to the woman, I said, oh, she just showed me a pair of Converse tennis shoes. I don't know why. And then she started laughing and saying, well, that's because I'm wearing Converse tennis shoes right now, and she's sitting at my feet. And so I asked the dog, well, why did you tell me that? Show me that. And she said, well, I just wanted her to know that we were connected, that we were actually having a conversation. So
Wow.
she gave me the validation that I'm here, we're talking. I want her to know I see your shoes. So
oh my gosh, it's so cool. It reminds me of that movie Ghost. Remember when Whoopi Goldberg's able to make the connection and she's trying to convince Demi Moore, trying to convince her how, and he's bringing through all those messages from their past and everything that no one would ever know. And yeah, really cool. See, dogs are wanting to do that same thing too. Like, just tell her that I'm listening. So I want to say hello to some of our viewers on the line. You have quite a fan club, Vanessa. I think it's really cool to see everybody loves you and they're loving that you're here. So we've got Nancy on the line with us. Erica says, here, I'll show you. I'll put it up. So Erica says, Vanessa really helps us understand and help our cat through illness. Having a better understanding of how Juliet views her role in our home has made a big difference. Wow. So yeah, that's an interesting one of just kind of, with communication, really being able to, like with McLaren too, get the animal's perspective on something that, just like a human being in our life, if they don't say anything, we're making assumptions, right? We're making assumptions with our partners, our husbands, our children, our family, making assumptions of how they're feeling or doing or what's going on with them, where it's a lot easier. We all know if we can just ask them a question and they can tell us. That's the better way to go. But with our pets, of course, we can't do that. And therefore, it can get a little bit challenging. And I think that's a great place for communication, right? Is that it just helps us to be able to make clarity here and there. And like Erica just said, with understanding her cat's role in the family. So do you often see that, where sometimes the animal just wants to get through, get a little more clear?
Yeah, definitely. I've had animals like really want to know, like, what's my role in my family, or what's my job? A lot of dogs or animals want a job in the family, and not necessarily like a working dog, but what's my job? Oh, it's my job to watch after the kid. Okay, I'll watch after the kid. That's great. And so that just helps them get a little bit more settled sometimes into the home, when they're not sure what they're supposed to be doing. And then, Erica also mentioned, we talked to Juliet, her cat, about an illness she had. And I'll, just be really careful to say that animal communication is never a replacement for veterinary care. we always, let people know, like, what I'm getting from the animal, take this back to your veterinarian and see what they want to say about that. Hopefully you have a veterinarian who's kind of open to this. But like the other day, I talked to a dog who was vomiting a lot, and we just, checked in with him, and he just gave me a feeling of like a really empty stomach and like a lot of acid. And so, he doesn't know why, but he was able to tell us how he was feeling. And so now his mom can take that back to the veterinarian and say, okay, this is what he's feeling. What could this be?
Mm.
So just really careful to, hopefully you have a veterinarian that will work with you and be open to, hey, I heard this from an animal communicator.
Mm-hmm. I am noticing that they are more and more open, and all of the clients that I speak with will get into this, different vets that they're seeing all around the country or even the world. And oftentimes I am hearing that conventional vets even are far more open than they've ever been to this kind of awareness and help and support. So that brings my mind to, the physical versus the non-physical. Talk to us a little bit about, which I know is deep in many of our hearts, the animals that have been physical, but now are no longer here, have passed over the Rainbow Bridge, and how we can communicate and connect with them.
Yeah, that's a really special connection, actually. Well, since this connection is made through our hearts, that love that we share with our animals, our dogs who are passed, that's still present, right? Just because you have gone on vacation and left your dog at home doesn't mean you don't love them anymore. And the same thing for when our dogs have passed, especially then, when they've left us, left their physical body, we still have that love. And so that connection can still be made. And so that's really an honor to be able to do that for people. And a lot of, what I say to people when I get on the phone with them, when we're talking with an animal spirit, I usually feel them in one of three ways. One way is like, they're kind of there, you can always check in with them, but they're kind of off doing something else. And my mentor has this fabulous story about checking in with the dog, and he said, I'm a white horse. So like she was able to make the connection, but he had already gone off to be a white horse. So I love that story from her.
Wow.
And then the second way is like they're kind of there hanging out, checking in every once in a while, but they're not like really ever present with the people. Sometimes they have a higher calling. They're doing something else for the benefit of many souls. Mm-hmm. And so there's, we can still make that connection, but they're just not, really, really present. And then the third way is that the animals are really present with their people still. And I see that in different ways. I remember seeing a cat, my friend's cat, I said, he's showing me that he's like weaving in and out of your legs, in spirit. And she's like, oh, he used to do that all the time when he was home. And so that was just his way of saying, yeah, I'm still here. And I think one of the biggest messages I get from animals in spirit who are really with their people is, we're here, we're not there. So mm-hmm. We always think of, oh, they've gone somewhere, they're up there or they're out there. But they've shown me over and over again that they are like literally right next to you. And so just know that, because you have that heart connection, you're still with them and they're still with you. Aww. And I definitely feel my dog, my little chocolate lab's soulmate. Don't tell my husband, although he'll watch this later. But yeah, I still feel him around, and I still ask for his help, and he gets me parking spaces all the time, and I'm grateful.
Oh, wow. Oh, Vanessa, that's so beautiful. It makes me teary, which, me is easy to do with the animal talk, but it makes me teary thinking that Pepper, my boy that passed last year, is just here with us, and I can almost just feel him as you say that. I can feel his fuzziness in this space. So it's really beautiful. Yeah. So I don't know what those beeps are. Odd noises from the background. So we have a few people commenting. Let's talk to them. So we have Marlene saying, let me show it up here. So it's cool about this Be Live. We can put the comments up. So Marlene says, we're trying to let them know it's okay to go. This is so hard. Any advice? Yeah.
That's a hard one. And I do have a lot of people ask that. Like I have a lot of people, and it seems to go in waves too. I remember last summer having so many people calling, and their animals were, kind of at the end, and they were wondering when it was time. And so, I'll never ask a dog or an animal, are you ready to go? because they may not know if they're ready. They may not know what that means. And so what I normally do is I ask them to show me how they feel about where they are on their journey right now. And what I often see is a road. And if, it's either long or it's short, sometimes it has a hill, sometimes a flat. So I'm kind of learning to know what all of those things mean. But in terms of advice for letting them know it's okay to go, Marlene, just as we said, get into your heart, get into that quiet space with them, and send them those emotions and those feelings and those pictures, because that's really how our dogs communicate, of, you loving them so much, and being so appreciative of them being with you, and understanding that maybe, they're suffering now, or their life is harder now, and you'll be okay. If when they're ready to go, or when it's time for them to go, that you'll be okay, and that you honor this part of their journey, because they really see like the death and dying process as part of their journey, versus for us humans, we tend to look at it as the end, but they really look at it as really part of their journey. So if you can honor and respect that for them, that may be helpful.
Beautifully said. Julie Jacobs also has a sweet comment. She says she's so grateful for Vanessa's guidance with Jackie when she was released from CCI. She helped me better understand Jackie's need for a different path. What is that about?
Well, Julie is also a puppy raiser for Canine Companions. And the great thing about Julie is she's the one who introduced us to the organization 14 years ago.
Oh.
She was a donor at the time, and she would give us the newsletters, and we would look at them and go, oh, this is so cool. We could never do it, though. How could we give a dog up? But so Julie really got us into this. And now, years later, she's become a puppy raiser. So her lovely dog, Jackie, she just decided working life wasn't for her. And we got to have a conversation with Jackie before she went off to college, and kind of hear what she had to say about how it made her feel to be in different situations. And I think that gave Julie a little bit more clarity about, okay, well, if she decides not to be a working dog, to kind of understand a little bit more why. So that's been really nice to be able to do that with our puppy raiser friends too.
Oh, I love it. You guys, when Vanessa was down here recently in San Diego and Oceanside, where the Canine Companions for Independence is, and she invited me to go to the graduation. And oh my gosh, I had no idea what kind of amazing, far-reaching organization this was, and what they were able to provide these dogs for. But we went to the moment where the dog was handed over to the person, the recipient. And oh my goodness, talk about a lot of tears and a lot of emotion, but also so much beauty. And then there was also the puppy raisers who were handing their puppies over to be trained, and the emotion that came with that. And you just see, a whole world of devoted volunteers and people who support this, like you, for years and years and years, and just let go time and again. And the recipients, to see the recipients was absolutely so fulfilling to my soul, and I'll never forget that. So thank you for all your work with it, for inviting me, and just for the service that you all provide.
One thing comes to mind, my friend Marianne, who's also an animal communicator and a puppy raiser. When people were, out and about in the grocery store with our dogs, and people go, oh, I could never do that. I could never give him up. And I love her response. It's, your heart's bigger than you think it is. And it's true. It's true. People say that about fostering dogs too. And, just give it a try, and then you'll see. So we'll prepare to move into our experience, but I just wanted to pop up one more comment here from Vanessa's huge fan club. That says that she has been the best help for me with my animals for years. And she's also a treasured friend. When my heart dog was leaving, Vanessa helped Velvet prepare me for being without her. Wow. Vanessa, I think our viewers can see and sense your beautiful heart. I certainly have since the first moment I met you. I'm sure that's why you're so good at what you do, is because it's so pure and it's your dharma. And it's really sweet to see all these different people that you have touched. Here's another one here too.
kind of long. Let me see if it'll go up on the thing. Yeah. When my daughter's dog passed, and we think sent a sign to her when her husband got back from the crematory after dropping off his body. She looked outside and saw a rainbow across their backyard. It was a cloudy and overcast day, and then suddenly this rainbow appeared for about 30 seconds and then disappeared. Oh my gosh, that is amazing, Karen. So glad that you had that experience.
That's just trusted that was a message from her.
Yeah.
Right? Because otherwise you could have been like, oh, weird, rainbow on a cloudy day, huh? But you really felt that and trusted that that was from her, and I have no doubt it was.
I love it. Love it. Thank you all for being here. Hi, Kristen. Thanks for being here with us. And Carol, Marlene, Rena, Julie. Yeah, and many friends. So thank you all. I love that you have not only connected with this work, connected with Vanessa, but also really have connected with your own heart and soul and your dogs as well. Here's Cindy saying, thanks, Angel Girls, for sharing these important and heartfelt messages. Cindy's got 6 dogs. So every time she's with us on these, I always think, I wonder which dog these teachings can apply to. One day, Cindy, we'll have to have that conversation. So Vanessa, yes, let's go into just a few minutes before we finish up of experience together. So for all of our viewers as well, if you'd like to just get into a comfortable position and find ease in the body and relaxation of the arms into the lap. Whenever you're feeling ready, please go ahead and close your eyes. And enjoy some deep, full breaths. Just feel the breath coming in through the nostrils, filling the belly. And then slowly releasing from the bottom of the lungs, middle, and top. 2 more times like that, helping to ground and relax completely. Feel your awareness land into your heart space as you continue to let your breath move freely, naturally, comfortably. And release any tension, physical, mental, emotional. With your next exhale, just let it all go. Create a clearing. And from this settled space, Vanessa will guide us.
So, as I said, be open to that you can actually hear a message from your dog or cat or whomever you're communicating with. And don't worry if your dog is not present with you. They don't have to be in the same room. They don't even have to be in the same space. If you're away from home, that's fine. And think about something you love about your animal. Maybe it's the way they wake you up in the morning. Maybe it's the way they greet you at the door. Maybe it's how they make you feel when you're feeling a little down. And just sit with that for a minute. So now that you've opened up this connection channel for your heart and the love that you share with them, we're just going to ask them a simple question. And just be open to anything you hear. You may hear a word, you may get a picture about something, you might get a physical or emotional feeling. Maybe there's a symbolism that you'll get that will make sense to you. So just sit open with your open heart and your open mind. You can actually do this. And just simply ask your dog or your animal, what would you like me to know? And we're going to get silent so you can receive that message and just be open to anything that you receive. when you're ready and you trusted that the information you got was from your dog or your animal, open your eyes. And we want to know, we want you guys to share with us what you heard, what you felt. What message did you get when you asked, what do you want me to know?
Yeah, let's hear from some of you. I'll put the question up.
Don't be shy. Maybe you just saw their food bowl, or maybe they gave you an image of a walk because they're telling you it's time to go for a walk.
I felt when I tuned in with Benny, last time we did this together, I tuned in with Graham and I got a really strong energy of insecurity, which really helped me understand Graham and his kind of edginess that he'll have. This time I tuned in with Benny and I just felt him feeling so content. You know, really, like I always say that about Benny. I've observed that he's really comfortable with himself. Like I admire that in him and I learn a lot about myself by watching that. Is just like that ease and authenticity that he expresses. And so when I got in him or with him, I could just feel like within my own body, just a comfort in my own skin that I maybe actually, now that I say it, I might not always even have as my human self.
Yeah, I was going to say, what a beautiful gift he gives you. So
yeah,
you know that if you are having a hectic day, maybe you sit down and take a minute to connect with Benny to help you with that, because they're really, you know what, you guys, they're here to teach us. They're here to teach us about so many things. And being present is absolutely one of them.
Oh, yeah. Well, I love it. Let's hear what the others said. So Adrena, hi, Adrena. Oh, we love you so much. Brady wants me to take him on more walks in the path of Los Gatos.
I can go there often.
Yeah. And Cindy said, I actually felt the spirit of one of my dogs from the past telling me that you girls were right. And he's right here with me. Oh, Cindy, that's beautiful. How touching. Beth says, Jenny was sleeping in another room. And when we connected hearts, she came looking for me. Communicating this way is really helpful as she is 14 and does not hear very well. Well, that's a whole nother beautiful thing, Beth, that you brought up is communication for dogs that are starting to lose their sensory connection that did give them that communication channel in the past. Now having to kind of take it more subtle almost.
Beth, that is really cool. I love that. And that, you know, that happens a lot when we make that connection. You know, people will say, I'm on the phone, oh, wow, she was just in the other room and she came in here and laid down. And so I love when they give us that physical representation of, yeah, I hear you, I'm connected. And she did that for you. I love that.
Really cool. Bono Emarina says, Bono said, I really enjoy sleeping a lot. I bet. It is their favorite pastimes of most dogs I've ever known. Let's see. Beth also says here, Jenny says, I love you, Mom. Marlene said that she heard, I love you. Oh, isn't that sweet?
It is sweet. And I'm so glad you guys trusted that, because I'm sure you're thinking, oh, well, gosh, of course they love me. But I will tell you, people call us animal communicators all the time just to say, will you let them know I love you, love them, and do they love me? And what I want to say is, of course they do. But I'm so glad you trusted that.
Mm-hmm. That's their job. Talking about dharma, that's their dharma, is to love and to accept in every single way and shape and form. Here's Keegan said security. He is always there for me. Her dog Zephyr, we were just with them. That's my sister-in-law. And we were with them. And Zephyr, he's like the patrol of the family, you know, with the two little kiddos. He's always like watching out, making sure everybody's safe. So I bet you did hear that from him. Let's see. Jenny, I wonder if you were able to connect with Stella. Did you hear anything from her? That's a dear friend of ours. Charlotte, my dog who passed, kept pointing at Jackie. Oh, how cool.
Oh, that's cool. Hey, I wonder, my head wonders, Julie, did Charlotte send Jackie to you? I'll have to explore that.
True. Oh, this conversation makes me so emotional. Tara, hi from Holland. Oh, doi. My Brussels Griffin Tara asks for a message. Thank you, Vanessa and Amanda. Oh, you're so welcome, Tara.
A massage, is that right? Oh, that's great.
Oh, a massage. Oh, I thought it said a message. A massage. Yeah. Well, that's much better. That message is good. And then we have Lilo says she now knows this is her forever home. Oh, Nancy, that's beautiful. Oh, you guys, I love that you were able to connect, and look at that, like just with a few minutes of intention behind this, the messages that we were able to hear from our animals. So, I mean, obviously my animal had a message for me. He just came pounding in here. He's like, all right, enough talking about me. I want my presence known. Come here, Benny. You can say hello to everyone. Since that's clearly what you want. Or he wants a walk. Yeah, that's Benny barged in. His little body, he's learned if he pushes everything he's got against that door, it'll open.
I was going to say, it's amazing. He can open the door.
They're so funny. So that's great. Wow, you guys. Well, thank you all so much for your sharing, for being here with us, for your love of dogs. Keep sharing. If you know other people that would be interested in this conversation, maybe they've asked about animal communication or they have a dog that you feel might really want to be heard in this way, share this feed with them, share this show with them and see if they're interested in hearing and learning a little bit more. As I mentioned, I will definitely put Vanessa's contact info below. She has unbelievable services and very reasonable rates, and her heart is so pure and open in service. And I know that an experience with her will be all that you hoped for. Marina says, Bono went blind. Oh, I didn't know that. Bono went blind last fall and sleeps more now. Yes, our communication has evolved and his needs evolve, and we learn new ways to do things. I didn't know that, Marina. That's very interesting and great that you're so in tune to all of these different ways to connect with him and meet his needs still. They have a beautiful relationship, those two. So, Vanessa, any final words before we close it out?
Oh, no, just thank you all so much. And I just, all of you I know on the phone are, as Amanda said, or on the phone, old school, that tells you how old I am, are so connected to your animals and your dogs. And that just having them as part of our lives and our hearts that way, just, brings so much to us. And I'm just thrilled to be a part of this community and with all these people who feel that same way. So thank you very much.
Beautiful. Well, I think we should do this again, Vanessa. I'd love to have you back on and explore other topics as well, within this experience of animal communication. So thank you so much. We wish all of you a beautiful weekend, lots of love and belly scratches, and we'll see you next week, 9 a.m. right here on Salma Dog. Bye, everyone.
Amanda.
Bye. Thank you, Vanessa. Lots of love, sweetie.
Mwah.